Sec 1, Chapter 8, Part 2a, Rate. In this part of the chapter, we'll be looking at the concepts of rate. Rate is a measurement, a comparison between two quantities with different type of units. Now we'll explore this concept a little bit more later, and then we'll need to use this concept of rate to solve word problems. Now without further ado, let's begin with our lesson. Before we begin, please make sure you have the following set of notes. This is Chapter 8, Part 2 on rates. And now if you have found your notes already, then let's get ready for the lesson. Okay, now on this page itself, the first part of our chapter we're going to learn on is to understand the rate, concepts of rate and average rate. So a concept of rate, what is a rate? Rate is actually a ratio of two quantities with different type of units. What is the difference between rate and ratio then? Ratio have the same kind of units, but rate have different kind of units. Okay, without further ado, let's look at the questions. Okay, before we begin, let's consider this activity. Okay, between you and your best friend. Okay, maybe you will have an SMS competition. Okay, now this message itself has 50 words and you're allowed to memorize the words, the message first before you type them out. How would you measure who will be faster? Well, you take note of the timing that who sends the fastest, right? So now actually in this case, we are typing some words and then typing the message itself, and then we are comparing the time. So we are actually comparing the rate of words per minute. So this is an example of rate. Now, what is the difference between rate and ratio? Now, a ratio itself is a comparison between two or more measurements with the same type of units. Okay, so that's why when you have ratio right at the end, no units is being displayed because they will have the same type of units throughout. Okay, but for a rate is different. Rate is a proportion of one measurement to another one with a different type of units, different measurement, and the units is important so that you need to show whether is it words per minute, meters per second, kilometers per hour, volume per second. Okay, for example, so they need to know what are you measuring for your rate. So in example 1, okay, the car travels for 180 kilometers in 3 hours. How many kilometers does it travel in 1 hour? So it's actually looking for kilometers per hour. So what we do, we take kilometers divide by hours. So this will be 180 kilometers divided by 3. That will be kilometers per hour, and that gives you 60 kilometers per hour. We write the units in this way, where it's kilometers per hour. Okay, please take note of the way we write the units. Now, how about example 2? Mary is paid $20, 2 hours. Find the rate. What will be the rate that she's being paid? It will be dollars per hour. So that means we find 1 hour, how much is she paid back? So we're going to take $20. When we write the working, we don't really need to write units sometimes. Okay, but in this case, this one is just $20, 2 hours. So that is $10 per hour. Okay, but in this case, we do write the unit so that we know what are we actually measuring about. So this is the answer for example 1 and 2. Let's move on. Can you find the following rates? Now, first one, John ran 500 meters in 1 minute 25 seconds. And they ask you to find the rate in meters per second. So this is already in meters, 500 meters. What about 1 minute and 2.5 seconds? Well, I need to change the units, isn't it? They want everything to be in seconds. So 1 minute is 60 seconds. So 60 plus 2.5, that will give me 500 meters over 62.5 seconds. So that will be meters per second. And let's calculate this number. It gives me the number 8 meters per second. Have you gotten the answer? Part B, the cost of laying 32 square meters of floor tile is $880. Now they ask us to find the rate in dollar per meter square. So we're going to take money, dollars, divide by meter square. So dollars over meter square meters. So dollars is 880, square meters is 320. So we'll get an answer of $27.50. Now this is in money, so it should be written in 2 decimal places. So this will be $27.50 per square meters. Next question. Mark can type 240 words in 4 minutes. What does the question want us to find? Words per minute. So we take the number of words over the number of minutes. So number of words is 240 divided by 4 minutes. That gives me 60 words per minute. A factory XYZ produces 64 chairs in 1 day. So now this is talking about chairs per week. Well, we have 1 day, so in this case we're not going to divide. We're going to take 1 week has 7 days, so we're going to take 64 times 7 to find out the number of chairs in 1 week. That will give me 8 chairs per week. Okay, now in real life we have a lot of rate all around us. So what are some of the examples? Okay, one example here is the exchange rate. For example, our Malaysian students will need to come in and they need to change the money sometimes, okay, for use. So let us take a look at a problem on exchange rate. An exchange rate is the current market price for which one currency can be exchanged for another. For example, 100 USD dollars can be exchanged for $122.66 Singapore dollars. Okay, what does this actually mean? In this case, when we are doing an exchange rate, we normally, for ratio or whichever, I tell you not to put equal sign. But when we're doing an exchange rate, for this particular case, we can put an equal sign, because in order to get 100 US dollars, I can exchange it and I can get it for exactly 122.66 SGD. Okay, so in this type of cases, this is really an equal sign. Okay, but when we have other kind of cases, you use the words represent, or you depend on the questions. Okay, but no arrow, no equal sign for the other type of questions. Only exchange rate, you have equal sign. Alright, so now let's say, for example, how do I make use of this exchange rate? If I were to have $300, 300 SGD, how much money can I get in terms of USD, 8 US dollars? So I'll need to change 300 divided by 122.66 multiplied by 100 USD, and that will give me the answer. If let's say I want to find the rate, okay, and then this will become something like this. So this will be measured in USD. Again, money is 2 decimal places. Now what happens if I'm given 100 USD, right, this exchange rate, and now they give me 56 USD. How much SGD will I get? I will take 56 over 100, the fraction, multiply by this number. So it'll be 56 over 100 times 122.66 SGD. And please remember to write the units. In two decimal places, we'll get a total of this amount of SGD. So these are just some random examples. Have you understood the concept on exchange rate? Okay, now let's move on. Interest rate. Okay, now in real life, when you loan money from a bank, it's not free of charge, okay? You need to pay a price for it. So they will charge you a fee called the interest, okay? And usually interest is a certain amount, okay, of your money that you use. Okay, for example, 10% interest, 20% interest. So the amount of money you have to pay after a year depends on the annual interest rate. So let's say I'll give you an amount of I borrowed an amount of $3,000 to buy a laptop from the bank, and then they charge me an interest. So I'm gonna count an interest, and it says like the interest rate is 5% of this amount. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to find 5%, take this amount times 5%. How to find 5%? 5% is actually 5 out of 100. So this is actually 3,000 times 5 out of 100. And that gives me $150. So this is the extra interest that I have to pay. Okay, so they call it an interest rate percentage. 5% out of your original amount. Right, so different questions varies differently. We'll find them out in the next part of the chapter. Okay, in chapter 9 itself, where we'll be learning especially on just interest rate. Okay, now let's move on. Now, solving problems involving rates, consider the following questions. Question number 1. The price of a 150 square meter apartment costs this amount. Find the price rate in dollars per square meter. So this is actually telling me to take the rate. It will be equals to, take the dollars, 780 per, means divide 150 meters square. You notice we write in the units to show that they are actually different, okay, and different types of quantity, and that will give me $5,200 per square meter. Have you gotten the answer? Question number 2. Apple juice are sold at 4 packets for $2.65. How many packets can be bought with $74.20? So what do we have? We have a rate, 4 packets for $2.65. Now I'm going to find $74.20. How many packets can I find? So I'll take $74.20 divide by $2.65 times 4. Well, you can do other types of working to get to your answer, not restricted, but I think my presentation is slightly simpler and easier to understand. So the answer will be 112 packets. Remember to write in the units. Okay, next one, question number 3. Mr. Lim spends $156 on 6 tickets to a musical. Find the price per ticket. They want the price per ticket, so it's also a rate. So the rate will be equals to price per ticket. So price is 156, 6 ticket, that will cost me $26 per ticket. Now they want me to find the price of 10 tickets. So the price will be taking this $26 times 10 tickets, $260. I prefer no units in the working. Alright, have you gotten your answer? Question 4. A fast food outlet employs 8 part-time workers at a rate of $3.50 per hour, okay, for weekdays, and then twice as such on weekends. Alright, that means the price for this will be double on the weekend. Calculate the total wage paid to all part-time workers who work for 6 hours a day for 2 weeks. That means 2 full weeks will have 5 weekdays and 2 weekends in 1 week. Okay, so let me calculate this one at a time. Okay, so in this case, I will have 1 weekday. I work for 6 hours and I get a price of $3.50 per hour. That will give me $21. But for 2 weeks, I will have how many weekdays? 1 week have 5 weekdays, 2 weeks will have 10 weekdays. I will have a price of $21 times 10. That will give me $210. Okay, 1 weekend, I will have $6 hours, but it's $3.50 at double the rate. So I'll earn $42 on 1 weekend. I'm going to write equal. Right? And then if I have for 2 weeks, there will be 1 week got 2 weekends. Then 2 weeks will have 4 weekends. So 4 weekends. I will get 42 times 4, $168. So they now want the total wage. So the total wage will be write a short description, adding the weekdays plus the weekends together. And we'll get the total answer of $378. Alright? Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 5. A car can travel 475 kilometers on 50 liters of petrol. So write down the rate of petrol consumption in kilometers per liter. So it's telling me that kilometers per liter, the rate itself will be 475 kilometers per liter, 15 liters. Okay, so that will give me 9.5 kilometer per liter. Right. Find the petrol consumption of the car if it travels 190 kilometers. Now, there are a couple of ways to do this answer. One, what we can do is we'll take the understanding 475 kilometers uses 50 liters of petrol. Now I want to find 190 kilometers. Okay, we'll use how much of petrol? So I'll take this 190 out of 475 times 50. So 190 over 475 times 50. And that gives me an answer of 20 liters. Another method is to use the rate that we found in part A. Now this tells me that 1 liter travels 9.5 kilometers. So how many liters will I need in order to travel 190? I'll find how many times is 190 in terms of 9.5. Okay, then I'll get the petrol. So for this, the amount of petrol can be also taking 190 divided by 9.5. That means I'll need to know how many liters of this answer. So 190 divided by 9.5 to give me the answer 20 liters. It works on both ways, so up to you which method that you prefer. Next question, question number 6. A tap takes 40 seconds to fill 18 liters in a tank. Calculate the rate of water flowing into a tank per minute. Now there are a couple of ways to do it. I can find the rate of water flowing into a tank per minute. So I actually want water per minute, okay, in 1 minute, right? So now what they tell me is 40 seconds will have fill 18 liters. So I'm going to change it to 1 minute. 1 minute have 60 seconds. So I'll find 60 seconds to fill up how much of the water. So 60 divided by 40 times 18. That gives me the number 27 liters. Therefore, it means this one over here is 1 minute. I fill up a total of 27 liters. So the rate will be 27 liters per minute. The answer for part A. Alternatively, if you don't like to use this method, you can still fill by the rate equals to water. Water means 18 liters per minute. So this is 40. I need to change 40 to minutes. So I'm going to take 40 divided by 60. Okay, to change it to minutes. And I should still get the same answer. Have you gotten the answer? Okay, now part B. If the tank is 95 cm long, 54 cm wide, and 1.5 meters high, what do you think they give us these measurements for? With the length, width, and height, what can we find? Oh, we're going to find the volume. Okay, how long would it take the tank to fill it completely with water? Well, first let us find the volume. So the volume of my tank will be 95 cm times length times breadth, 54 cm times the height. But this height is 1.5 meters. So what do I need to do? 1.5 meters is how many cm? To convert from meter to cm, I times 100. So it's 150 cm. So this one multiplied by 150, and that gives me this amount of volume, cm cubed. But the questions that has given us is all the rate are in liters, right? But this is in cm cubed. They are not the same units in our comparison. So what can we do? We need to change the units. So 1 liter is 1000 cm cubed. How many liters is this? In terms of liters, to change from cm cubed to liters, I'm going to divide by 1000. So I have 769.5 liters. Right? Now, I want us to find how long will it take to fill the tank completely with water. Correct? So I gotten my rate just now. Alright, 1 minute fills up 27 liters. So if I have 769.5 liters now, how long would it take? I need to find 769 divided by 27 times 1. And that will give me the answer 28.5 minutes. Have you gotten the answer? We are coming to an end for today's part of the lesson. Now, for your offline assignment for today, please complete these 3 questions and take a photo of them and submit online to Google Classroom. So this question as well, and this question. So we'll see you for the next lesson.